My name is Anthony Alvarez. My brand is called Bluemarble, and I started the brand in 2019 in Paris. I think that my morning motivation is my curiosity. When I wake up, I am just very curious to know who I'm going to meet, what I'm going to learn, and every morning it's my curiosity that wakes me up. I've always had a passion for extreme sports from a very young age. And whenever I feel I'm in, not a good creative zone, I practice extreme sports. So when I'm in Paris, I skateboard. And I go right next to where I live near Place de la République. And I skate with younger kids, which remind me also of a younger self and just makes me free. And I just, rejuvenate through it and come back in a much better state. So I've been thinking about that a lot recently, and it would definitely be Siargao in the Philippines. Well, my dad comes from the Philippines, and I did not go to the Philippines until I was 11 years old, so pretty late. And that trip was really a big awakening for me, and to discover part of my roots. I see my collections as like chapters of the story for me, and I know that a collection is finished when the message I want to convey in that chapter is delivered. And what's interesting for me as well is the continuity between the collections to write my story. I don't really feel nostalgia because most of my past is still part of my present. So my family, my friends, my experiences. So I look at the past as, emotions I felt back at a certain time, but that are still similar now, even though they're different. So that's how I think I look at the past. I love living in the moment and also thinking about, the next day. Very excited. I think the future, as we've seen this year, is very uncertain. And that we're all aware of it. But what I think is interesting is to see how we're coping with the challenges that we're living through. And that, I feel, I'm very optimistic for the future to come. For me, it's really nature, which ties to, the extreme sports, but the time I really feel I take time for myself is when I'm either in a forest, in a beach, or in the mountains doing extreme sports. Because I'm just so happy also when I do it, and because I don't think of anything else. I think social media is really an important tool to, as we've seen it, to raise issues, awareness. With regards to me and Bluemarble, it's also a way for us to stay very much in touch with our community, not just in Paris, but around the world, and which is a great tool to have and for us to stay connected. I think we're gonna head towards some sort of simplicity in the times to come. The beauty of the industry was also the complexity it had, but the times are evolving. I think society is evolving, and we need to come back to some sort of simplicity. I think that this movement that I'm really proud to be a part of, this youth movement of trying to understand each other, which is also something I'm trying to convey through my brand, is the importance of understanding your friends or people you don't know, where they're from, their state of mind, how they grew up, their differences, and celebrate those differences. And I think we're arriving to a point where the youth is really pushing that message, as it's so important to understand that, to be able to be stronger together as one, is really to celebrate each of our differences. My happy place is a place in the south of France where my mom is from. It's a really small beach town called Cavalière. I spent all my summer as a child there, and it just makes me really happy to think about the souvenirs I had there, and it's my happy place. The ocean. The ocean for me, when I smell the ocean, I really smell freedom. I grew up part of my life in New York, and I played a lot of basketball then, and I was really around the sneaker culture. When I wear, a fresh pair of Air Jordan 1s, I feel so good. And I think for me, it's the most important part of, my look is the first choice of the sneakers. I'd say Originals by Adam Grant. is a book I started reading maybe 4 or 5 years ago. You know, time to time, I reread it just to remind me. It's really interesting. It's how, you know, non-conformists have created a difference in this world and changed barriers by just thinking differently. Personally, for me, it's so important just to remind myself that it is possible. And I really love the book. I'm still young to have really wisdom, but from my experience, it's finding the balance between audacity and humility. For me, it's to keep living my life passionately and to keep on being excited to meet new people, learn from others as well. That's something that's so important for me to continue doing. For me, I've always lived by the importance of sharing moments with others. Whether it's your family, your friends, people you meet in the street that you don't know, it could be a smile, a look, but that exchange builds part of your life and the other person's life as well. And it's so important to share those moments and be part of each other.